Captain Tsubasa is one of those series almost everyone has heard of. Even people who never followed football remember the name. But what most people remember isn't the specific goal, it's how the matches felt. They felt long. Not boring long, intense long, like the game was stretching time itself. Captain Tsubasa began as a manga created by Yoichi Takahashi in 1981. The first anime adaptation aired in 1983. Later, in the 1990s, a new version reached a much wider international audience, especially in Europe, and that's the version most viewers grew up with. On the surface, it's simple. A young football prodigy, matches, rivals, training, tournaments. Nothing about that sounds revolutionary. And yet, Captain Tsubasa didn't just tell football stories, it slowed them down. Matches didn't rush towards goals, moments where stretch runs felt endless, decisions carried weight. This wasn't accidental, and it wasn't common at the time. Early 1980s TV anime usually moved fast, especially shows aimed at younger audiences. Captain Tsubasa did the opposite. It trusted patience, it trusted build-up, and it trusted that tension could be more powerful than constant action. To understand why this mattered, and why so many sports animes still follow this structure today, we need to look at how Captain Tsubasa treated time, pressure, and payoff. Instead of pushing players straight toward outcomes, the series stretches actions over time. Movements repeat, situations linger, and moments are allowed to breathe long enough for pressure to accumulate naturally. For stretching moments and repeating actions, the series shapes how time is felt across a match. Takahashi's point was never to simulate real soccer. He designed pacing so that effort, concentration, and endurance become palpable. The audience experiences tension the way the players do. Through duration, through repetition, through the weight of each action. Across all adaptations, this core remains intact. The pacing may adjust, the cuts may tighten, and the visual language may evolve, but their underlying structure stays consistent. The camera frames effort without chasing speed, holding on bodies in motion long enough for strain and intention to register. Decisions are given space, sometimes more space than the outcomes themselves, because the story insists that process is the event, not the payoff. The logic is present from the start and carried forward, not introduced later or attractively refined. It's embedded in how matches unfold, how plays repeat, and how anticipation is allowed to mature instead of being discharged immediately. Captain Tsubasa treats soccer less as a sequence of highlights and more as a sustained trial. Matches are built around endurance, repetition, and psychological pressure, where tension grows through accumulated time rather than constant escalation. The longer a situation lasts, the heavier it becomes. As a result, matches feel tense, victories feel earned, and even when the action turns extreme, the series never collapses into a highlight reel, because the structure refuses to abandon duration. Later adaptations expand this language visually and emotionally, but they don't replace it. They operate on a foundation that was already firmly in place. A system designed to make time itself the primary source of tension. But this is where evolution starts to matter, because Captain Tsubasa didn't just change through animation studios, it already changed in the manga itself. Between 1983 and the end of the decade, Yoichi Takahashi's art style shifted noticeably. Early Captain Tsubasa is rougher, denser, sometimes almost stiff. Later Tsubasa becomes cleaner, more elongated, more readable in motion. That wasn't random. Weekly serialization demands speed, and speed forces simplification. Long limbs, clearer silhouettes, fewer visual distractions. Characters became easier to animate, easier to stage, easier to understand emotionally at a glance. And the change turns out to be crucial for what came next. The original 1983 series introduced slow burn with tension and occasional long shots. Music was already part of the formula, highlighting key emotional beats emphasizing rivalry, victory, or despair, but it mostly portrayed highlights. The moments lingered but only occasionally, and focus was often on the manga-inspired framing. The 1990s adaptation took all of this further. Long camera shots became more extreme and frequent. Scenes lingered on the ball, on players' stares, on reactions. Music evolved from simply highlighting moments to guiding the viewer's attention, heightening suspense and reinforcing the slow burn.
よし、今度こそ。
本当、ズバテ君もう一度オーバーヘッドだ。
何？そうはいか。どうしたんだ翼。お前がそんなにあっさり抜かれるなんて。やはり知っていたのか。翼君。
美杉君絶妙なタイミングでゴール前へロビングを上げたぞ。さあ今度は真田君伊沢君のヘディング勝負だ。
Leitmotifs and recurring themes built anticipation before the action even started, making the pause and tension almost tangible. The 90s show didn't just follow the action, it orchestrated it, turning waiting into an experience itself. This is also why the 90s show became the global standard. The designs were expressive without being culturally specific. The emotions were big but legible. You didn't need to understand Japanese storytelling conventions to feel the rivalry, the pressure, and the anticipation. Then comes Captain Tsubasa 2002, which refined the formula in a different direction. It respected the viewer's time. Pacing was tighter, narrative cleaner, tournament progression more efficient. Matches moved faster and long shots were shortened. Music became accompaniment rather than narrative structure. The slow burn remained, but it burned shorter. By the time we reach Captain Tsubasa 2018, the shift is complete. The animation is clean and modern, consistent. The story is accessible, fast, and technically polished. But everything happens quicker, and very little lingers. Silence is rare, anticipation is shortened. Music is no longer used to guide tension. The series is faithful but emotionally flatter. And that also explains why newcomers should be wary. The English dub of the 2018 series is particularly bad. Child Voices misunderstands the tone and legacy of the show, turning tension into noise and seriousness into parody. It's a rare case where a dub actively misrepresents the spirit of Captain Tsubasa. When you step back and look at Captain Tsubasa as a whole, its legacy becomes very clear. It became the blueprint.